14 hours, or actually a little bit later than that, we were involved in an officer-involved shooting. Officers were called to the 2100 block of South 68th Avenue regarding a large argument or a disturbance in the garage. When they arrived, they saw that the garage door had been damaged, had been bowed out. They could hear an argument in there, and I believe that when they looked in, they could see that two individuals were fighting. One of them was in a motorized scooter, and the other one was engaging him in some type of physical confrontation at that point. The officers pulled the garage door open, they went inside, and when the first officer went in, who was Officer Brad Althauser, when he went inside, he immediately called to his sergeant, Sergeant Ryan Wisner, and told him, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. Officer Althauser tried to physically subdue him and engaged him, a little bit of a scuffle, and then the man was able to push away or break away. At that point, he either grabbed or attempted to grab a 6.5-inch 22 caliber revolver from his waistband, and Officer Althauser fired 2 shots, we believe 2 shots at this point, and the man subsequently was pronounced dead there on the scene. So we recovered the weapon. If there's anything else. There's 2 other pieces of information that we do have a history of domestic violence at that scene. And then also, there's been past incident involving the suspect, who is now deceased, of being paranoid from drug use that we've also been called to that scene. So that's the information we have at that point. If you have any questions of clarification on this, I can answer them.
So did the suspect actually have a chance to point a weapon or just reach for a weapon?
We're still investigating that. It's clear that Officer Althauser called it out, and talking to the sergeant, we believe he either grabbed it or was actually grabbing the gun. So we're still investigating to clarify that point.
So was Sergeant Wisner the only other officer who saw this happen?
Correct.
And how long has Officer, how do you pronounce his name?
Officer Althauser was hired in March of 2012, so he has just over 4 years on the department.
What unit is he with?
He's in patrol. He works for Captain Jones.
He's Squad Blue Patrol.
Is this the first time he's been involved in an officer-involved shooting?
I believe he has. I don't think there was any other incidences prior to this.
Did you say you're hopeful there was some of this caught on video?
I don't believe we saw Officer, the position, I don't know the position of Officer Althauser's vehicle. Sergeant Wisner's was facing the garage, and you could see the portions of the scooter and where the garage door was damaged prior to our arrival, and the officers pulling portions of that garage door off and then making entry. What transpired inside is not on video.
So it was 2 males that were involved in the domestic violence?
Yes, they're brothers. We have the one who was paraplegic, he's confined to the wheelchair, is Roberto Bracino Ortega, he's 52 years old. And then his brother, who was the offender in the assault, is J. Juan Bracino Ortega. He's 50 years old, and they're brothers, and they both live in the house.
And any time an officer has to go through something like this, what does the public need to keep in mind? This is a difficult time for the officer as well as the suspect's family.
There's a misconception that because there's no face to an officer, it's just the police, that we're not subject to the feelings and the trauma that happened here. This officer was facing an incident that potentially could have taken his life. There's a lot that he's going to go through. He just took a human life, and no officer wakes up in the morning and says that this is a good day to do that. This is probably one of the most traumatic things anybody could ever go through. And he's gonna need a lot of support. He's gonna go through a lot of turmoil and questioning. It's just gonna be a difficult time for him. The members of his squad, they're gonna go through this, other members of the department, Officer Althauser's family, Sergeant Wisner. There's a lot that they're gonna go through. This is probably one of the most difficult things for an officer to go through. We're gonna give him as much support as possible, give him, send him, let him get some counseling that he chooses, and get him back to work as soon as possible, where he's comfortable with that.
What's
Alright.
next?
What, excuse me?
What's next? What do you guys do? What are you guys gonna do next?
Well, it's continuing investigation. Our detectives will, look at the case, put it all together, and ultimately it will be presented to the prosecutor, who will make a final determination if it's a justified shooting or not. Our officers, they have a high level of ethics and integrity. They're gonna do a very good job. To their credit, they called the prosecutor out Friday. He was here. He was reviewing stuff, so we were open and transparent the whole way. So that's where we stand on this. So, thank you. Oh, one last thing. This is a representation of this we got online. The actual weapon had been disassembled and inventoried, but this is the make and model. It's a 6.5 inch 22 caliber revolver, and this is a exact representation of the weapon that we recovered.
And was the weapon loaded?
Yes, it was.
Could you spell that officer's name for me real quick?
Sure, it's right here, I'll let you.